Hi everyone, this is Donna McDonald, your National Executive Director, and I am so excited to welcome you to Class 2 of our Aspire to Be program. First of all, you made it to Call 2, congratulations. Crystal shared some amazing ideas on selling and tips on just moving your business forward and all about your belief. So I'd love for you to share with the group, kind of what are your ahas? What spoke to you from Crystal's call? And you can pause this and go ahead and put it in the comment section, or you can wait till the end. But we want to celebrate with you. We want to hear what you're really excited about. And we also want to hear how you got out of your comfort zone, because that's really what this program is all about. You have to move yourself forward by getting out of your comfort zone in order to make things happen. So I hope that you're tracking your shows, because we know that having the right amount of shows is giving us the ability to get the most out of this program. Now, today we're going to talk about bookings and prospecting. As I said, we have to have enough bookings on our calendar in order to implement all the ideas you're going to be hearing in this 6 weeks program. So if we don't have enough bookings on our calendar, we need to prospect. And that is really, for some of us, getting out of our comfort zone. But remember, it's really super easy to share what you're excited about once you are knowledgeable about it. We have products that change people's lives. And did you know it's a statistic that families who eat dinner together have children who do better on their SATs, they have better interviewing skills, they're less promiscuous, they're less apt to do drugs, smoke, get involved with the wrong crowd, all because they gathered around the table and ate dinner together. Now, when you have information like that, it's really hard to not share what you know. Doesn't that make you feel awesome that you have such an impact on future generations just by going to work with the Pampered Chef? Now, it's easy to share when you're out and about. Here's our little quote here. Don't be scared, be prepared. So it's about being ready for your next booking, being ready for your next recruit when you step out that door. So you're going to be prepared by wearing Pampered Chef logo wear. You're going to maybe carry a tote bag. You're going to wear your name badge. And if you're really bold, you're going to wear your apron to the grocery store. Now, get ready to go to work. So when you walk out the door, you're going to have either Season's Best cookbooks, you're going to have either mini catalogs, or you're going to have some recipe cards. So let's talk about a trip to the grocery store. So you're carrying your Pampered Chef cookbook looking to find ingredients for a recipe. And you find yourself in the brownie aisle and you're carrying the Naughty Brownie recipe card. And you're getting ready to give them away. Now, don't get nervous. Yes, I am going to ask you to reach out to strangers, because you know what? If those door prize slips on your desk are just gathering dust because you feel like you're contacting the same people over and over again, it's about getting out there and finding new customers, finding those new hosts. Now, everywhere there are people, there are those that eat, right? I want you to think back before your time with Pampered Chef. How many of you struggled with dinner? How many of you struggled with the right tools to use to prepare your dinner? How many of you stared at the cabinet or the refrigerator hoping that dinner would just jump out and prepare itself? Think about that. So are all the other people around you. They're having those same challenges. So I think of it as being selfish if I don't share. Now, I always said, give me the words. I've been with Pampered Chef 28 years, and I always modeled my business off of other people who were successful. So I said, if you give me the words, I can get out there and do it. So this is an example of some words that you can use, when you're in the grocery store. So you're in that brownie aisle, and you have your recipe card, and you see somebody who's looking at brownie mixes, and you can say, hi, is that a good brownie mix, friend? I'm making this recipe out, to try tonight, and you show them the recipe card. Do you think that that's a good brand that you have there in your hand? They're going to respond back to you, and you can say, have you ever heard of the Pampered Chef? We know how they're going to respond. They're going to respond, oh my gosh, I love the Pampered Chef. So you're going to ask them, well, when was the last time you were at a party? And they're going to tell you, oh, I was at a party last month, or I haven't been to a party in years. Ask them, well, would you like one of our new product flyers? And of course, they're going to say yes. Now, two things. One, always make sure that your information is stamped. And two, make sure you have a Post-it note or something that you can use to gather their information. Because if you don't gather their information, you might as well just take in this brochure and just toss it in the garbage. Okay? You have to have a way to follow up. And you must call them within 24 to 48 hours because they lose interest 10% every day. And that's especially true when it's outside of a party. At least at a party, they're going to have some product that they're going to have delivered to them, in the next week. But if it is just a brochure, you have to follow up quickly. So this is an example of a conversation that you can have. And there's many, places. It's not only in the grocery store. It can be at your hair salon. It can be at the dry cleaners. It can be at the bank. Don't ever drive through the bank. Always walk into the bank to do your transactions because then you have that opportunity to have more one-on-one conversation with that teller. And of course, when she sees your Pampered Chef name tag, she's going to say, oh my gosh, I love Pampered Chef. Do you have a brochure? Again, it's about being ready for business. Okay, so here's another conversation that you may have at the checkout line. Again, it's about having a casual conversation. And if you see that people are really excited about the products, ask them right away if they'd like to have a show. Don't ever walk away from a conversation having that nagging feeling like, oh my gosh, I should have asked them. You know what? What do you have to lose? You have to start seeing it as a service instead of a chore. It will become much more easy and much more fun if you just do it and having the repetition and the practice. That's what it's all about. Prospecting when you're out about is nothing more than a friendly conversation. You know what? You're passionate about something, you're not going to be able to you can't help yourself. You're just going to share naturally. So you also want to be prepared when someone asks you, what do you do? You want to be prepared with your 20-second commercial. And you want to answer the question in a way that promotes future conversation. You don't want, if somebody says, what do? You don't want to say, oh, I'm with the Pampered Chef. You want to use an example like this. So your 20-second commercial should be something like, I help create mealtime memories with quality tools and tasty recipes. I show busy families how to get dinner on the table in less than 30 minutes. I help people realize that cooking can be fun when you have the right tools. I personally say I get people out of the fast food line and around the dinner table with their family and friends. These are designed for people to ask you, what is it you do? Then you say, I'm with the Pampered Chef. And of course, we know what they're going to say. I love the Pampered Chef. And you like our funny little quote at the bottom there. I'm so glad I'm not a lawyer. No one ever says I love lawyers. So now that we've prospected all over, let's talk about bookings at your shows. Bookings at your virtual parties as well as your live parties, because bookings really are the heart of your business. So the magic number is 2. You never want to close a party without 2 bookings. 2 cooking and 1 catalog would be even better, or 2 virtual and 1 cooking. However you design your business plan. You have to have 1 show to replace the one you just did, and you also have to have 1 more show to grow your business. So again, the magic number is 2. And in order to get 2 bookings, you have to ensure that you do just a few things. And so let's talk about those. First of all, host coach effectively. And we're going to talk about host coaching next week, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. Next, you want to be professional. You want to show up on time. You want to make sure you're dressed appropriately. And you want to make sure that you are the perception. This is your business. This is not your hobby. So you want to make sure all your dishes are clean. If we want bookings, we want to talk about higher priced products in order to create the desire. Of course, cookware is an investment. So we want to talk about cookware so people are encouraged to book. because bookings are the way that they can get those half price. Okay. Now, you also want to make sure your host feels special and appreciated. You want to have her front and center at the beginning of the show, again, acknowledging, saying thank you for inviting you into her home. Thank you for inviting your friends and family, giving you that opportunity to talk about Pampered Chef. You're going to go over bookings numerous times. First in your intro, in your demo several times, and also in your closing. People need to hear something more than once. So don't feel like you're badgering people. It's important that you talk about the food, the fun, and the free. People don't always book for free. They also they all also book because of the fun aspect. They want their friends to come in and have a fun evening. Now, when you use the door prize slip, you want to make sure that you say yes to the check mark. So don't just hand the door prize slips out. Say, you know what, I'd like to go through the door prize slip. This is my report card, so please make sure you fill out everything completely. First, I'd like to mark yes if you'd like to learn more about earning additional income. Mark yes about hosting a cooking show or getting some free products. Mark yes for hosting a virtual party and earning free products. Mark yes if you'd like to receive my newsletter. Mark yes for learning more about wedding showers. So you're giving them permission. Last, do the 3-pile checkout. Ask every single guest at the end, first, if they're interested in the business opportunity. Second, if they're interested in a cooking show. Or third, if they're interested in a virtual show. And if they say no, your response is that no, not now, or no, not ever. And make sure that you take the back of that and make notes, because you know what? Your business is going to be booming after you go through this class. So you're going to want to make sure that you have reference when you're following up with people. Now, you also can offer incentive to a guest or a host to book a party. So something like, when our host here gets 3 bookings, she's going to get an additional prize. Now, one of the posts that you're going to see us share is the now and later. So the now and later is 2 possible gifts. So now, when she books, right there, you may give her a quick cut paring knife. Later can be the night of the show, or when her virtual party closes. The later could be an ice cream scoop. So you start with a small prize, and then you end with a larger prize. Base that all on your income. Okay, how much do you want to invest? It doesn't have to be, a veggie spiralizer. It can be a smaller product. Next is know your products. Be knowledgeable. People want to come to a party that they walk away with more information about cooking and about the products than when the party started. And of course, smile a lot. People want to have fun. Okay, people want to come to, a party that is interactive. People want to come to a party that, again, they're enjoying themselves. No one ever wants to book a party with ER, but everyone will book a party with Tigger. Now, if they say no, if you're doing actual in-home cooking shows, and they say no to an in-home party, offer a virtual party. Or the other thing to do is offer them to co-host. People's biggest obstacle with having parties is they feel like they don't know enough people. So, you know what? You can do a buddy party where they and their best friend co-host together. They get 10 people there. Their friend gets 10 people. That constitutes a great party. Now, let's talk a little bit about virtual parties. Now, if you're a virtual consultant or you'd like to jump into the virtual world, go ahead and add parties by the green dot approach. So when you're looking at your Facebook screen on the right side, all of your friends that are listed with the green dot means that they're live and online. So you're going to want to approach them with the verbiage that we've included here. Now, don't be discouraged that they don't react the first time. Sometimes it takes 4 to 5 contacts for people to, say, yes, I'd like to look at that. So be diligent, make those contacts. Now, when you're in your virtual parties, private message the interactive guests, okay? You want to contact them privately, encouraging them to book a party. Always ask for referrals. Referrals are so important. Maybe that person doesn't want to do a party, but they know of someone who may be getting married or just starting their cooking adventures. Turn your host into a booking agent for you, right? She gets 50% off future party picks when she has bookings. So why would she not want to help you book parties? Always rebook your hosts, okay? Just set it up. Hey, you know what? In 6 months, we have a new product line coming out. What's a good month for you? And of course, be ready. Be ready to book your dates right then and there. And if that potential host is not ready to book, send her off with a few dates, and follow up again within 24 to 48 hours to get that date on the calendar. Of course, because we know that, in order to close the party, we're not going to close that party without 2 bookings, right? Okay, so we want to be a booking magnet, and it's all about our mindset. We want to start those parties saying that I will get 2 cooking shows and 1 catalog show booking at every party. And if I'm doing a virtual party, I'm going to say the same thing. I will not close this virtual party without 2 future bookings on my calendar. I am a booking magnet, and everyone wants to book a show with me. Set your goals. Make it possible. If you set your goals, it's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, because it's all about our passion. Okay, so excuse our little N that fell off the scale there. Last week we talked about our belief system, and we challenged you to strengthen your system so much that, belief just comes right out of your pores. Well, the opportunity to purchase, the opportunity to book a show, and the opportunity to join one of the fastest growing teams in Pampered Chef is all about belief. And when you wake up, the first thing you should think is, whose life will I change today? So you're going to share with us, what did you learn about yourself from the 4 pillars handout and that first section on belief? And please share your stories with us. We have to have a strong belief in order to move this business forward. Now, this week, we're going to talk about passion. And the first thing that I want to share with you is, if you struggle with bookings because you think people are doing you a favor, you're probably lacking a little bit in the passion. Because I challenge you, go ahead and take a look at our host program and take a look at our commission structure. Our host program is amazing. And our hosts receive a lot more in free products and host benefits than we get paid. So why do we feel like they're doing us a favor? You've got to have that passion and believe that this is the best thing that has ever happened to you in order to get a ton of bookings, okay? So are you passionate at your parties? Okay, are you there just like jumping up and down, with knowledge about the products and products that you're really excited about? Can people tell that you are in love with your products? Can they tell when you talk about bookings that they are going to have the most fun party ever? Can you paint a picture that is so clear that they cannot even imagine not joining your team? So you have to say to yourself, I love the Pampered Chef. And you know what? You have to answer it honestly, yes or no. Are you passionate about your products? Are you passionate about booking shows? Are you passionate about sharing our business opportunity? And whether you are or you are not, you want to be the most excited person in the room. That's what it takes to be a successful Pampered Chef consultant. Now, if you're not passionate, how can you find your passion? First of all, attend National Conference. It's happening in August. You want to be there. You're going to see the new products. You're going to network. You're going to see the McDonald team. You're going to be there and part of such an exciting time with the Pampered Chef. If you can't attend the National Conference, go to Pampered Chef University again and again. Watch YouTube videos. Play with your tools at home. Go Facebook Live. preparing recipes, attend team meetings, listen to training calls, find an accountability buddy, okay? Or we call it a Vanderbilt buddy. Somebody who's in this program that is striving to, have the same success that you are. Find a fair or booth to work. You know what? You're going to go. You're going to love it when you're at those fairs, because every person that comes up to your table is going to say, I love the Pampered Chef. And that's going to help with your passion level. Come to a recipe night. Find a Pampered Chef mentor. Find somebody who is a step ahead of you in the business that can share their success strategies. Now, I hope that you have questions. And part of your homework is going to be assessing your passion level. And we're going to attach this to the homework. But we want to hear what your questions are. So go ahead and mark them in the comment section. Or when you join your Q&A at the end of this week, share those questions. Of course, we have to have homework, right? Homework makes us push a little bit farther. Okay, so here's your homework for this week. Listen to the Abundant Bookings with Penny Parks and Melissa Russ, and that's on the PC University. Also on PC University I want you to look at the table talk, start a conversation on social media. If you don't have enough virtual parties, you're going to take a look at that, and it's a great way to help you get those virtual bookings. Share with your recruiter at least 5 takeaways from this recording. Reach out to 20 Green Dot friends. Hand out a minimum of 10 mini catalogs when you're out and about. And of course, as I said earlier, take your pillars assessment on passion. You have to have passion to move forward in this business. Okay, then we want to know, how many shows will you commit to booking this week? Share that with your recruiter. Share with your recruiter, how many out and abouts will you commit to this week? Maybe go pamper a business, okay? Bring a sweet treat to your dentist's office. Bring a sweet treat to your doctor's office, to your hairdresser, okay? Everyone loves to have something, tasty. Set up a follow-up call with your recruiter to discuss everything that's happening. How many leads did you get? Share how many bookings you got. What were your sales at your last parties? What did you have trouble with? We're here to help you with that. And of course, we want to celebrate with you. So make sure we hear one brag that you have this week. Now, I am so excited that you attended. I hope that you found this helpful. I hope that you're going to see more bookings on your calendar. And thank you again for taking part in our Aspire to Be program. Everyone, have an awesome day and an awesome week.